Greetings, friends, and welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Sharon is sounding so good.
And Sharon got a new microphone. So now I have late night DJ voice. And I'll try and like keep my tone in such a way that I don't like blow everybody's eardrums out when I'm excited.
We fixed that in post.
I have to get used to it. I hope I don't make more work for you, Alex.
No, I guess it's going to be more or less work.
Yeah.
So our cozy recording case just got a little bit cozier, so we can dive into some interesting topics and rabbit holes around the topic of neurodiversity. And you can still ask us questions or share your stories, or you can also get on the show as a guest. Normally we thought we have a guest on today, but we have to postpone that a little bit. So
he's on a mountain.
He's on a mountaintop today. And we are surely going to talk about that next time. So I'm Alex Carl, and the beautiful sounding voice.
Yes, and I'm Sharon Lee. I have to, what is it called when with the sensory thing when people do things in the microphone?
ASMR.
There's a word. Yes, ASMR. Yeah, I keep thinking of like, oh, yes, the crinkling of paper and things like that. It's like, oh, what can I do with this new toy of mine? Yeah. So anyway, every week we serve up a delicious buffet of neurodivergent topics, discussions, questions, and explorations around the subject of living as a neurodivergent human. We enjoy talking about and celebrating how people like us can not only thrive in today's world, but prosper, because the world desperately needs neurodivergent humans to bring real transformation and evolution to mankind. We are the keys through the shitstorm of a one-size-fits-all world, and that is no joke.
That is no joke. And
yes.
Lucky us, we are always writing down our downhill parkings at the end of the episode, like some starting ramps or topics we would like to discuss on a later episode. And we just went through them and thought it might be a cool idea to talk about how you can find a collaboration partner as a neurodivergent human. And you just said a story to tell right along those lines.
Oh, I had a bunch of stories. Only one story, but wait. Yeah. So it's, I could tell I've got a bunch of stories how the wrong way to go about it. Yeah. And, all the wishful thinking. I was like, no, it'll work out. This will be fine. And, yeah. I'm sure everybody has those, not even neurodivergent people, but it's like, everybody's probably been through that. But of course, the first place to start is know thyself, right? And knowing kind of what we want, what we need, and like what are the deal breakers, so that when you come across somebody and you want to be like, hey, maybe we should do this and do a collaboration, you're more aware of like the yellow, orange, and red flags. That's probably the most optimal awareness level, is to be able to see and acknowledge those flags and either go towards a green flag and avoid the other ones. So yeah, I'm totally guilty. I would say struggle and my difficulty my whole life is that I see potential in people. And so I'm like, oh, this will be amazing. We could do this together. This will be great. And I see people's, I just naturally see people's like superpowers, their super skills and their superpowers. And it took me a really long time to understand that just because I could see it doesn't mean they can see it in themselves. And so yeah, I've gotten into conflicts and difficult situations and uncomfortable situations where the person wasn't showing up like they initially said they wanted to, but I wasn't recognizing the flags that they wanted to, but they didn't have the capacity to show up. And it's one of the reasons I'm also very, very blunt with people about the dyslexia and the ADD thing. And I'll say right off the bat, okay, like I can't be doing the administrative stuff. And I told with you, I said, I can't be doing the editing. I tried, I gave it a really good try. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that's like, I'll crash the boat if we're relying on me editing. And so stuff that's in a very repetitive thing,
I can totally relate to that because it's especially editing, it's fun when I'm doing it, but getting started with editing is a huge task for me because I have to find the files and I have to organize them before I can start editing it. And the ramping up, when I'm into the job and when I'm doing it, it's okay. Still not my, how would I say, still not my favorite action or my favorite task to do, but then it's
activity,
activity. But getting into doing it is really, really hard for me.
Okay, that's the part that's hard for you. Yeah, and some tasks, but if we know these things about ourselves, and this goes back to the thing of saying we should all be putting together notebooks about the operating manual of me that you could essentially hand to somebody and go, okay, here's how do you operate this, this animal. It would be so helpful. But yes, it does take a certain level of awareness for sure.
I have two files, two note files where I at least collect insights about myself and where I write down insights I have about myself. Positive, negative, neutral, it doesn't matter. It's just like, okay, I learned something, how I react in several situations or whatever it may be. And that is helpful because I wanted to ask anyway, like, how do you start knowing thyself? How can you understand yourself better? Maybe there is a structured way. For me, it's you often have this really great questions, and when I am often caught off guard with questions like, for example, what's fun for you? I really have to think about things like that. It's normally I can't get out some spontaneous answer because I want to give a good answer. So I have to
right answer. There are no right answers.
There are no right answers, but there are lame answers and there are cool answers, for example, or there are unusual answers or really usual answers. And I almost always try to go for the unusual answers, and I have to think about them.
Yeah. But it's okay. So if we go back to the thing of finding the collaborative partners, for example, with you and I, it was very organic how this came to be. Neither one of us, with our conversations started off with this project in mind, and we were just having conversations. Now, I did have, you've heard me talk about, I've got lots of things on different burners and things on pause. And so it's like, I'd like to do a podcast, but like with who? But I have the interest there. So that's kind of in my subconscious of things that I want to do, but I don't have or haven't met the right person. And so I just kind of write it in my notes and then have faith that the universe will provide. And, if I haven't found the right person, the worst thing I can do is force it. And so it's, I just kind of am comfortable with letting something, not let it go in terms of forgetting about it. I don't mean that. I mean, let it go momentarily and just letting it sit in the, at the side, just kind of, idling, if you will. And so when we started having our conversations, and then it just came about so naturally, and we were like, oh, we should have recorded that, because like, oh, I want to remember that. And then it was like a conversation or so later, and we said, oh, this would make a good podcast. And then we're like, you want to do it? This kind of thing. And that's just like, it was such a natural thing. Now, granted, not all projects that we're going to be doing are going to be that organic and natural, and there's something that it has a timeline. But I can also say, for example, we're gonna now we have to stick to it, because when I'm gonna talk about it. So now we have to do it. So Alex and I are talking about, taking the next step and putting out a newsletter. And my first reaction to that is like, oh God, I have to do something on a regular basis. How the hell am I going to do that? And, can I commit to it? Is this going to make more work for Alex? And, is he going to get tired of me and fed up, but whatever. And then it's like, okay, how can we do this that takes that into account? And it's like the regular irregularity, if you will. And so it's like, and Alex is, both of us do a lot of research, but we do it in different ways. And Alex has this thing of like, right off the bat, I was laughing when you were saying it, and you were like, okay, we can have this long list of thing and like 20 some points. And I'm just like, holy shit. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do that. And I'm thinking, I want to do mine like Tim Ferriss, like 5 Bullet Friday, and like just like 5 items in there. Like what I'm listening to, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, something I'm thinking about. And he puts, he has in there, I think, a quote or a poem he's pondering or something like that. It's easy, man. Ooh, the bar, so low. And it's like, so you can't really fuck that up. And I was just like, yeah, boy, that's more my speed. And so I put that across to you, and you were just like, well, that's not very much. And
I can put my finger down now on why I'm so skeptical about that, because I realized that I haven't read the 5 Bullet Friday in like a year or so, because Tim changed his software, and I didn't I didn't saw the message to keep reading it, so I didn't got it anymore. But I still remember that for me, I think I read the first 3 or 4 newsletters, and then I got bored of it, because the structure of what I'm reading right now, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, that was too structured for me. That didn't feel authentic, because I thought like that there's no way that somebody is looking or reading a poem every week or reading that much poems, for example.
It's not always a poem. Sometimes it's a saying. It's a thought, a quote I'm pondering. And I do.
I like it more like organic. Like, I came across this one really interesting thing that's believable for me.
Yeah.
And in the next week, when it was a busy week, hey, I came across this 20 interesting things. Okay, then it's 20. I don't have to read all 20 of them, but that's
right.
that's much more authentic for me, and not as marketing like you have to have fixed structure of every time for that's I remember that I was thinking
in terms of I think of it in terms more of like the Japanese form of design, the ikebana. I believe it's ikebana. I might be confusing my words here, where it's the simplicity, the pared back, and so you only give a couple things, especially because people's bandwidth is so overloaded, and that thing of like leave them wanting more. And so I resonate with how he does his thing. So he's not doing it for a marketing thing. It's literally kind of how he lives his life, and which is why I'm a fan, because it resonates with me, of paring it back. And now, because he does it every Friday, like because I told you, I said I would like to do the newsletter, not every week, because I don't know, just, I got a lot of stuff going on. So, once a month kind of a thing. So now that you say it, it's like if we do it once a month, and if it was, 5 bullets, then it would be 5 things on each of those categories, or 4 things on each of those categories if you're taking 4 weeks in a month. So it would be more, actually, if we did it once a month. I don't know, but I think I could do that. I think I could manage that. Now, what's interesting is, like, everybody who's listening, it just occurred to me, this is how we collaborate. This is live. You guys are listening to exactly how Alex and I collaborate. And so it's like, we take into account, it's like, oh, how do you do it? Oh, how do you do it? And it's like, oh, that's interesting. And it's like, I can't do that, And there's no shaming or anything of like, no, we should do this. And it's like, all right, how are we going to do this so that we can both, get our needs met. And because he's got a daughter, you've got a daughter, in which I've got other commitments, but having a kid, it's more you have more of a regular thing. Than I do.
Yeah, but especially the whole podcasting, like we got together to do the podcast, is the perfect match. Because I can do a lot of the technical stuff or the back end stuff, but I would never I never say never, but all the podcasts I did were for other people or for other companies or together with other people, because I myself, I am not, I would say maybe I'm not curious enough, or I'm too concerned that a topic that I'm interested in and that I would like to talk about is still not interesting enough for others to listen to me or to listen to me talking about that. It's almost, it came to me when I said 5 minutes ago that what is fun for me, or answering questions like that, I really have to think them through. And when I think something through too long enough, then the ADHD just fires 20 other things at me that are more interesting, and then I don't think the first thing through enough so that I can do a podcast about it. It works when I write something, so I could write out podcast script and then read them or talk about them, but I never was consistent about that yet. So you are so naturally great at getting a conversation started and keep the conversation interesting, and just right off the bat, when I said, okay, how about talking about finding collaborations partners as a neurodivergent person? you instantly were firing away like, oh yeah, there's that and there's that and that. So that's a really, really good match.
Yeah.
Makes
I think
so much easier for me. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this. So.
See, that always surprises me because you seem like such a natural. But again, it's that thing of like when, and this is a good point, is to find somebody or be aware enough that you can have a partner in something that brings out the best in each of us.
And it's
and that's where it's like, wow, that's a sweet spot.
It's like the dynamic. I mean, you can learn. I remember when I was a kid, it was like the Boris Becker, Steffi Graf tennis time. And I was playing a lot of tennis when I was 12, 13, 14 or so. But since we couldn't really afford, or my parents couldn't really afford to get me into a tennis club, and I'm pretty sure would have lost interest in this after 2 or 3 months. I was playing tennis on the street with my dad, or I was playing against the wall half day. So I learned a lot when I got. I think on one birthday I got a voucher for 10 lessons with a trainer. And he thought I am a total beginner, and then he threw me some balls and said, okay, let's do this and let's do that. And he said, damn, you really have some feeling for the ball and for different strikes and so. And I was like, yeah, I was watching lots of tennis on TV and I was playing in the street. And he's like, that's like a Brazilian soccer kid who was playing in the street. And after
You're
that.
Right.
After that 10 lessons, I didn't continue. But as in martial arts as well, you can learn boxing on your own at a sandbag or just like shadow boxing, but without a training partner and without another person who's reacting to do what you are doing and like bringing other things to the table. That's where real creativity starts, and there where you react to what the other side does. That's something completely different as when you're doing it all on your own.
True. And it's interesting because I've just started the second podcast about wisdom, Wizecracking, and so it's completely different. And I was curious about that. Now we've only done it twice so far. We haven't published any of them yet because we're trying to do them.
I want to listen to them.
4 to 6. Well, I can send it to you. I can send you them. Okay, well, I'll send it to you. And actually, you could tell me, it's like, oh shit, you should edit this. And I'm like, oh God, how much do I have to pay you to edit this? And it's basically what my reaction will be, because it's like, I don't know.
If you ask me to edit them, then I'm going to edit them.
Okay, well, first you got to listen to it and let me know if it needs to. I don't think it, because the first one we did, we lost. I kept losing. I had like 8 or 9 times. I lost connection. And it kept kicking me off. The Wi-Fi was crazy that day, and so I just said, okay, we're trashing that one. And so we did the next one, and we said, okay, this is going to be the beginning one, and it was so much smoother. My God, it was so much better. And really trying to, for somebody who ADD and it's so disruptive to have something like that. So the second one was good, but it's funny because our dynamic is completely different. And so sometimes I catch myself not paying attention to the conversation because I'm paying attention to, like, on a, more of a meta thing. Like there's part of me standing outside and watching it and going, oh, that's interesting. Look how we did that. Or like, look at the direction this is going. And and it's like noticing the difference, not in a judgmental way of the difference in the two. Yeah. But plus we're also, getting to know each other. We did it specifically to jump in so that live people get to watch us have a kind of a bromance, if you will, getting to know each other. And so I think, oh, wow, really? So there's a lot of that, which is funny. And, or we think it's funny. I don't know if anybody else is going to think it's funny. But anyway, we're having a good time. It's that same thing, as long as we're same deal that we made with this. So it's like, so one of the things I would say, there's bullet points on here, is like a good thing is to I'd like to come up with a bullet list after this. Question is like, are you having fun? Now, granted, if you're like, collaborative partner doing, heart surgery or something, it's like, I don't want it to be a party fest if you're like, operating on my heart, but it's like, but what does it look, co-pilot in a particular project? But there's something about it, if you enjoy the person's company. I always like the question, and I forget where I heard it, but I just adopted it immediately. And it's a filter I put on everything now. And it's, if you had two choices of, to start a project with this person or start a project with this person, the question to ask yourself is, okay, if you were stranded in an airport for like 8 hours, which person would you rather be stranded in some weird funky airport with for 8 hours? And it's like, in your gut immediately which person you would rather be in kind of a, fucked up situation like that, where it's like, something you have to endure. Your gut knows instantly which person. And so that is a phenomenal filter, and it works every time. And so I would
easy.
say, ignore. Yeah. So ignore that filter at your peril.
It's so everyday usable. It's not like, who do you want to be stranded on a deserted island with, or some.
Yeah, not the same
just
question.
Stupid for me, because it's not gonna happen. I'm not going to have to play a whole episode of Lost with somebody. No, but being stuck in an airport or in a train or whatever, that's much more likely. Or you could say, with whom would you like to be on a road trip in a car for 6 or 8 hours?
Well, that's like being stuck in a very confined space. Again, there's a certain amount of like endurance, because in a car trip, you come, there's like traffic jams and whatever, and it's like, how do you handle that? It's like, how do you handle when somebody's hungry, the other person isn't, the other person wants to just keep going, the other person likes to stop every hour or so. What's the irritation level, and how do people handle that? How do you navigate that? And
I just
all this
remember
super important stuff.
I just remember a situation in another episode. I think I already told that I did a travel journey with my girlfriend in 2010, where we started in Hamburg and we traveled 200 to 250 kilometers every day, the whole coast of Europe for 50 days. So before we did this, I asked a friend of mine who did around the world in 80 days with couch surfing. So he slept every night somewhere else on somebody's couch all over the world. And I asked him for his advice, and he said, Dad, how should we do this journey together, or without getting on each other's nerves? And he said, like, well, just be patient with each other and love each other and have fun together. And 2 or 3 years later, I did a journey project with him where we traveled around the world in Germany in 80 hours. So we got a car from Mercedes, like a little van where we could sleep in, and we set our goal to visit 30 different cultures and 30 different people from 30 different countries in this 80 hours.
Oh, cool.
And we had several appointments, but also thought, okay, we try to find a person as we are going. So one or two people are driving, and one person is driving, and one or two people. After one day, we were together with a friend of mine, so we were free. The other can research which person we can meet. And cool. it started out really, really stressful. Because of course, if you plan something, then you just replace randomness with an error, and we were traveling. I think on the first day, the last person we met was at 1:00 at night, after driving for 600 kilometers and stopping like every half an hour or hour and doing an hour interview. And he was so ambitious to fulfill this number of 30 interviews in 80 hours that he was like, we have to go, we have to get in more, we have to try. And we were even on Domian. There was a big radio show in Germany back then, Domian, a night hawk show, a call-in show, and we described the project there. So he thought like, there must be people who react to this radio show, and we have to stay awake and drive further, and said, no, Daniel, I'm finished for today. I'm going to park the car now. I'm going to hide the keys. We are both not in the condition anymore to drive, because we started the journey at like 6:00 in the morning. So we were on the road for 15 hours or 16 hours.
Wow.
I said, I don't want to die for this fucking number. We said just randomly, we are going to sleep now, and we start over tomorrow.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
And if we don't get this 30, then we get 20 or 15. I don't care about the stupid number. We just made this number up. And I'm don't going to risk my life. And he was really pissed that I just like a little Jenga tower, like throw over this.
That you try to change the number.
Goal. And after it, in the next morning, he was like, yeah, I think it was the right decision, because I was really running just on adrenaline. And we made it in the 80 hours. We made it to 23 people and 23 different countries and it was really cool. But there was like cool. Two different. I learned from that I am a quitter, and I'm proud on it. When I don't see any reason in something, then I say, okay, I quit. That doesn't make any sense. And I don't stay on a path when it doesn't make any sense. I try to go back 2 kilometers and find a fork in the road or so. But I don't walk the same road for 100 kilometers just to find, because I set a goal on that. Some arbitrary goal that we ourselves set. Yeah. And you and I have that comfort thing, because I wrote down here, do you feel safe saying no? Yeah. And that is a huge, huge puzzle piece about collaboration, because when people start off doing something, it is kind of a honeymoon period. And so it's difficult to say what kind of difficulties come up. And so it's like, the other one is like, does the person have a sense of humor, about themselves and things in general? Because it's like, when stuff gets really difficult, it'd be like, my first reaction is to laugh and go, oh shit. Oh no. and okay, like, now what do we do? So it's not like hitting a brick wall. It's like, it's the laughing is the moment of pivot, I guess. And so having a good, so for me, that's very important. And I know that that's what you just described is definitely what we have in common as well, is that we're both very adept plug pullers. But that's important to me. Again, that thing, what's important, what's a deal breaker, but to have this in mind. And if we all think about this ahead of time,
And the more we, as we go along and we kind of have that written down in a file somewhere. I mean, of course, most of it's in my head, not written down, but I've thought about it enough that I kind of don't have to. But it would be interesting to do something like that and do a document and help people out and say, hey, these are the kind of things. Yours might, be different. It's like your mileage may vary on each of these, but it would probably be helpful if we put something like that together. And,
May I just interrupt there, because I really
oh hell no! You really pissed me off. I'm tired of this.
I'm just when you just said that you have all these things in your head, and we talked about this. I sent it to you, and we talked about a year ago on one of the older episodes I just edited last week. We told about we really should write a book together, and I'm still really sure that we should do that. But I have the same problem. I have the same problem to how do I get everything out of my head into a book? How do I structure it? That is such a massive task that I have no idea where to start. And I think together we could pull this off, writing a book, because it's almost the same as with the podcast. When we combine our superpowers together, we get this out of our heads. I think we can take away each other's fears about, hey, it doesn't have to be structured right away, and we can structure it afterwards. And but do you have some kind of trick or hack to get those things out of your head and on paper?
Well, yes and no. I mean, certain things, no, and I'm still trying. And because I got a bunch of projects that is, as you know, it's like, oh, okay, I have to set that aside because either I don't have the right partner or something's missing in there. But in terms of like the 10 books that I should be writing, but a book with you, that I know how to start. And what that would entail is picking a date, and then we sit together on camera. We don't need to talk, but at first we do in the beginning need to discuss, okay, like what, and let's kind of have a general outline, and like, okay, who should maybe start this one or start that one, and maybe but we sit together, and then like in each one of those we talk about it, but then we also do it. So we sit there for like, I don't know, half an hour, 15 minutes, half an hour, and write together.
And we could do it
something about that, because you have a designated time.
Yeah. And I remembered that I have done this several times with teams in a meeting, so that we sat in a meeting without talking to each other, and all of the 5-6 people in the same room were working in the same Google Doc, so that everybody was writing things out that came to their mind. And after 15 or 20 minutes, then we started talking, which is especially valuable for people who are too introvert or too shy, for example, to speak out in a meeting. But they have great ideas, but they won't say them out loud because they are maybe feel ashamed or think
intimidated
And you have always the loud ones, the salespeople or the marketing people or the C levels that are blabbing out everything, and then the people with the really brilliant ideas don't come out of the shadow or come out of this corner. So I would really like to do that. To let's book in half an hour or hour, and then we just talk and write those outline points down, and Yeah, take 15 or 20 silent minutes and just write out everything that we come across there. That would be cool.
Right. And I think, because I think you and I are the same in that. And again, that's that thing of like, we're lucky in that because we do have a lot of similarity in that what would work for me would probably work for you in vice versa in that aspect. But especially a project like writing a book, that if we did that, it would feel comfortable and it would, it would fit for both of us. And because we like hanging out together, it's not like, oh God, I gotta hang out with him again.
And we still could record all those writing sessions and then we could put them together at our biggest fans who
the extra.
Yeah, as an actor, you can watch the whole process, how this book was developed in like 40 hours of video recording. If you would like to, here you go.
Do you know what? That would be fun. Oh my God. Okay, and now so you hear this, people. This is how it happens. So, Alex, what we should do is we should do like the book writing summer camp. And we should try this, and then we can turn it into a workshop, huh? So first we guinea pig it on ourselves, huh? Yeah. And what we're gonna do is we choose the time and the dates, and I don't know if it should be every day because it should be if it's summer camp, it could be intensive, but it's not like all day. It's just an hour here and there, And so we nail down the time and the date. And then we just fucking do it. And so we say like, okay, by the time we come out of the summer camp, we're going to have at least the rough draft of this thing. Well, I should say not at least the rough draft. We'll have the rough draft of this thing after like, say, 5 or 7 days. What do you think?
That sounds amazing.
It sounds crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing. It's like, And I've been in on some writers things, but then they send the people off and they're like, okay, you can go off and you can do this, and then this is how you do it, and you meet and I'm thinking, but as soon as you leave, people like us with the ADD and stuff, it's like you're not going to do it. You're not going to jump back. It's very, very, very difficult. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This makes it interesting. Like, what would work for me? So I mean, it's like, okay, why not create something that would work for other people like us?
There are a lot of, or not a lot, but there are several, like the first who started was the guy who was on Tim Ferriss several times as well, Tucker Max, who started this book in a box.
Right. So I've been through one of his programs.
Ah, okay.
But you don't sit down and do it with them.
Yeah, and
they give you an assignment, and then you come back, and then they give you an assignment, but you're not working together. And
what I read about it is really, really neurotypical focused. Yeah,
but it works. There's certain things that are really good about it. I have to say, it really was good. I learned a lot. I picked up a lot from it. Didn't write my book. I learned, again, it's what's really, really difficult is just sitting down and doing it. And they keep saying, just sit down and do it. Just sit down and do it. And it's like, great, I understand that, but I can't force myself to do it in terms of, I don't know. But it's like I have out of that group, I think it was out of that group, I have somebody that I hang out with almost on a weekly basis. Another person that was in there, and so we're each other's support systems. So we write all kinds of other stuff, but we're neither one of us writing our book.
So after we did our camp, we could offer this person, okay, would you be our guinea pig for doing the workshop with others, maybe?
Yeah. Anne would be a good candidate, I'm sure, because I know she wants to write a book thing of what she's doing.
do one.
But I don't know if yeah. And I know she's in between gigs, so that might work for her this summer. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
The one thing I have to say this, the one thing that came out of that experience with the Tucker Max writing thing was what he calls, getting the clarity of what you're doing. And I realized that he said when it's too jumbled and has all this stuff in it, he said it's like serving a meatball sundae. You don't put like meatballs with ice cream and whatever. It just means there's all this stuff in it, too much stuff. And in an outline or in the idea of it or whatever, to be clear about what the book is going to be about. And it's like, the concept of the book. And so I spoke up, and it was, I loved the story because it was just so funny, because I thought, I've done the homework. I was like, great, I'm going to present. And so, so I went to speak in front of the whole group, and this is online. And so I'm speaking in front of the whole group, and I said my, story. And when I wrote it down and I said it to myself, it seemed perfectly clear. But as I was saying it in front of the whole group, I was thinking, oh man, this is really busy. And he just shredded it. And he's like, oh God, he's like, you're just serving me meatball sundae. And I was like, oh Christ, he's right. And I was like, and I was, ouch. Now the funny part about this was, it was my birthday. And I was laughing. I found the whole thing so funny, because I was like, I started into it going, oh, this is going to be great. They're going to love this. And it was just like, wah, wah. No, no, it wasn't.
It was a happy meal of meatball sundae.
It was a total meatball sundae. And I was just like, oh shit. Yeah. Okay. Right. I see. And so it was this like, burning clarity, but just flamed in front of an entire large group on your birthday. And so it was like the gift but it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. And it was something that's like, okay, and I stepped up. I'm the man, it wasn't like everybody has to read their thing. It's like, no, I volunteered. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, be careful what you wish for. And it's interesting that now I really, really take care to just strip everything back and have it be as simplified as possible, so that people can absorb it and they can get the message. So useful, because as somebody with ADHD and other things that I have, and being, I just like, no, I have the concept, but my concepts are super complex, but I can't serve it like that. I can't serve it like that. It should never be served like that. I have to dial it way back. Yeah. But it's interesting because you and I, and how we have conversations, we get into the weeds and we get into the complexity. But no, I find you a very effective dance partner in terms of, and I think that in terms of writing a book, I think we can do it, and the partnership will really serve us. Yeah, but I would like to do it intensively.
Yeah. That would make sense, and I mean, like around an hour is manageable, I think, every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can squeeze that in.
Yeah. 45 minutes or an hour. It doesn't have to be long.
No.
Because I know that both of us are going to be working outside of that time on it. But the fact that we show up and there's an inspiring thing also that happens when we talk. that's really useful.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to go, oh, that's an accountability partner. It's like, fuck off. Don't say that word around me. And
that's an accountability partner with a job, with a project, with a.
I hate the thing is like it's like a nanny thing that I don't like about it. And it's like, no, it's a playmate and an inspiration partner is what I like. And then you sit down and it's fun and you're doing it.
And you're doing
together,
something together. I mean, accountability partners don't do stuff together normally.
No.
They just be there.
No, you show up and just show that you've done it. You know, prove that you've done it. And there's a thing of reward and punishment built into the accountability partner that I don't like. Doesn't fit well for me. And in fact it evokes my rebellious side. Like, don't tell me what to do. I'll show you. I'll show you by not doing it. Which of course only hurts myself. But that is part of the equation. But that
is so, I mean, I wrote down one idea I had to talk about in this session, why it is hard for me to collaborate in real life. Okay? Because there was still this question, what is fun for you, back in my head. And the most fun things for me is like researching things or reading interesting articles or consuming interesting content, learning from that, breaking it down, and then like throwing a big bag of Lego bricks in front of me and build something new from that. Like building a space station with Lego bricks, like building something new from this ideas and pieces from articles and so. And what you described just sounds like that, but only doing it together. Like every day first we threw together the outline, and then we start like everybody's picking out maybe some of the topics from the outline and work on that. And next day we collaborate on that maybe, or we advance the outline, and then someday we cut it back and put something together for part 2. It sounds like so much fun. I mean, it sounds like.
See, there you go, folks. You just saw his reaction. That's exactly what it should look like.
Yeah.
And in certain projects, you know, part of the thing is, what projects are we choosing? Now, there's also a difference of if you're working for a company and they're choosing the projects, as opposed to being you yourself choosing the project. Now, because that's a layer of difficulty to think about and be aware of. And if it's somebody else is choosing the project, how can we make it our own? And how can we make it interesting? And like, what happens if it's really not interesting, but you have to work on it because you're working for somebody? And that's my worst nightmare, be honest with you. And for those of you who are doing that, I'm sorry, I've got no tips. Do you have tips for that?
Yes, I have at least I have the tips that most technical agencies I know work when they are working with the ticket system, for example. So you have, like, let's say as an agency, you have 15 employees. Some of them can code, some can't. Some are like graphic designers, some are like project managers and so. And you have 10 clients that you are actively working on. Then you do a workshop with the client to find out what has to be done to build an app or build a website or so. And you have it with one that is in the graphic department, one that's in the project management department, and one that comes from the perspective of developing it, like coding it. And you collect all the things the client might want. It's a little bit more complex, but I
right.
you're collecting all those things. And then normally the person with the project management background who is technically fit enough to know what's going to be done, even if I'm this kind of person. I don't know how to develop code, and I didn't open Photoshop for like 15 years, for example, to build a website in it, but I know how it works theoretically still.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite good at combing through all what we collected in the workshop with the client and make little manageable tasks from it and break it down into 20, 50, 100 single tasks, like tickets, that can be done in 30 minutes to 2 hours or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other persons with the technical or design background, they look into it and just alter it where it has to be altered. And then everybody who's working on the project on each day can pick those tickets and those tasks that they want to do this day. And if you are working not only for one client, but for 3, 4, 5 clients, then it gets even easier. Because sometimes you're just annoyed maybe of one client, so that you can switch to the other client you haven't done that much for yet, or that's totally new, for example. That's something that works quite well, I think. That is why I often say the Montessori method is was so influential to companies like Google or Facebook and how they work, because they didn't invent this agile style of working, but they perfected it for those companies. And it's like coming into your Montessori school and deciding, okay, here's the pile of things I can choose from. Has to be done someday. I should be able to read in a year, or I should be able to calculate with numbers up to 100 one day. And what am I up to today? What am I interested in today? Am I interested in science? Am I interested in language? Am I interested in maths? And the kids pick out what they like that day, what they want to do their work on.
So that would be phenomenal in a work situation if that's possible.
I know several companies where that's possible, or where they are working that way. And even what is even really important, the one company I work for right now. Yeah, so
it says my internet connection is unstable.
You can call me Elsa as well. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. The one agency, they are doing this daily, like 10-minute daily meetings every day at 11:50. So everybody who has time joins the TeamSpeak and tells about their day. What have I done until now? What am I going to do? What were the hurdles or the barriers, or what went really well? And sometimes you talk about how your personal day was, or how your personal life was. And every Wednesday there is the jour fixe for 1 hour, where first of all every person in the agency, which is like sometimes we are like 17 or 18 people in the TeamSpeak. It's just audio on the servers, like Zoom, but just audio. And everybody talks about in review how the personal week was. And that can range from, we had a great excursion with the whole family to a amusement park. And on one of the last ones, somebody said, okay, it's a bummer that I have to start, but my last week was totally about that we had to put the dog down. And he was just telling, really emotional, what happened last week. So everybody knows. I mean, it's like a lesson in empathy. It's like everybody knows what's going on in each other's lives, and everybody is totally transparent and open with it. And
that's so cool.
There's like so what's many really going on, so that you really know. Because I often am on the side to tell the clients that somebody is sick, for example, or that somebody can't do this ticket for the next week, but they are really under stress. And when I know what's going on in the life of the person that can't do it right now, I can communicate this much better as when I don't know what's happening with the people. Then maybe I'm already annoyed that the person can't work on it. And I think like, ugh, sick again. And I have to deal with this client now. But so it's much easier to communicate on both sides. And for the others to jump in and say, hey, I have a little bit of resources, so I can deal with that, or I can take this task and this really urgent task and do it for the other people because I know they're going through a hard time. But that's only
it's interesting what you're it's interesting what you're saying. Yeah, because we're watching right now what's the name of it? Ted something. It's that show. Oh, come on. What the heck is it?
I know you I have to open up. Told me about the show that was called Severance or something like that.
No. Ted Lasso. And he's a football coach, and he's an American football coach that goes over to the UK, and he's the manager of this football league. And it's so great. But he's introduced what's called total football, where everybody has to be ready to play in each other's roles and to jump in. And so they're making the adjustment right now, which is fascinating. And I understand what they're doing. So it's like but it's like when you have a really well-working team, that's what it looks like, but it's like, but in the beginning, it looks like total chaos until people get used to it, of being there for each other. And it's interesting how it's written, the show, and how it's written and how it manifests. It's fascinating watching them go through the chaos period and then coming together as a team, and be able to operate in that manner autonomously. And so it's pretty cool. It's kind of it describes what you're talking about. So I recommend everybody watch Ted Lasso. This is third season that we're in. It's really good. And I'm not going to tell you how they do it but string attached to penises is involved. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
So that should pique your curiosity.
I heard or I read about it, but I haven't seen it yet. I thought about it.
It's really good. I think you're going to really like it. I think you're really going to like it. And it's funny. It's surface level funny, but it's also very deep. Very No, we really like it. We're crazy about it in the household.
Okay.
And yes, we've only got 5 episodes to go, and then that's it. Third episode. I don't know if they're going to do any more, but no, it's really good.
I think that's why I came across it recently again, because it's the final season, and I think they're going to end the whole series,
which is a bummer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's wild how you get really attached to the characters, and but the whole thing is about this total football and the chaos of learning something new and letting go of something else, and And it's very much of like rule number 4, or the 4th principle of it, because they have the 3 principles of it. And then what's the principle number 4? It's like, well, we don't know. We have to wait and see.
That's
it's very, very interesting. Yeah, it's like, well, let's see. We don't know yet. We'll know when it arrives. And I love it. The emergent aspect of it. Yeah, it's like yes. But it's interesting.
Let's
watching their partnerships.
We have a book title there. The 4th principle.
No. The 4th principle, not according to Ted Lasso, and so funny. Yeah, no, I think we're gonna have fun with the book thing. So let's go back to the thing of like finding collaborative partners. I'm gonna pull back from this because I know we're sharing a lot of stories about things. But if you have a project and you know that you need a partner, like where would you find one? I think an interesting thing would be, of course, of LinkedIn is say, hey, look, I want to do this thing. I'm looking for a partner, and just put it out there to the universe, or with LinkedIn or some other places, and just see what you get back, and it's like, if you don't get anything back, you're like, okay. And people say, yeah, nobody was interested in my thing. And it's like, maybe it's because the wording isn't, how it should be, or not how it should be, because it's a judgment call on that. But maybe the wording needs to be tweaked a little bit to provoke people's curiosity. Maybe it needs to be worded differently. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what was the thing that, did or did not provoke responses. Maybe it's, not open enough to invite a collaborative thing, partnership. I can say this new kind of collaboration thing that I'm getting involved with, and I won't suck up all our time on this, and we're going to be having him on. I haven't asked him yet, but he will be on. His Perry from the Octopus Movement, and he's very neurodivergent, and so this is a new thing, a new friendship, and we're like definitely having a total bromance about things, and we were trying to get lift off on an impromptu retreat this summer. We didn't get it off the ground, and we had to give up the reservation of this place that was totally awesome, and we couldn't get enough people to sign up. And so he's also a very adept plug puller, and so he doesn't, there's no bad feelings about it. It was just like, okay, shit, we weren't able to pull that off, but what's the next thing we're going to do? And so he and I are very similar on that, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Because he's definitely like me, where I'm like, hey, it would be fun and crazy. And he's like, what? Tell me. And and I know that there's pretty much nothing too crazy to put on the table. And I was just like, oh, this is going to be fun. So he's a new friend and collaborator. And so, I can't wait to have him on the podcast and talk about the Octopus Movement, and it's a community of nonlinear thinkers. It doesn't mean only nonlinear, because both he and I have that thing where we can have a foot in both camps, linear thinking and nonlinear thinking. Some of this text on the website makes it sound like it's, only linear thinking, nonlinear thinking, and nonlinear thinking is the better, camp to have your both feet in, but that's not what he's saying. So it's like you have to read through, just to anybody, if you look it up, we should put it in the show notes for sure. When you actually sit down and talk to the guy, it's very obvious that it's like, no, you need both. And, he's both, I'm both. And it's like, so it's all included. It's very inclusive in that aspect. But generally in society, the nonlinear thinking hasn't really been valued. So it's like, how do we, his thing is, kind of amplifying that and the value of the nonlinear thinking, which is very much, what you and I talk about, but we're not using the terminology nonlinear thinking. So it's interesting. Some people say that just the term nonlinear thinking has a negative connotation to it. It does not bug me at all. It just means, it just is the way of describing something. So it doesn't bug me that it, has a quote unquote negative connotation to it. I don't feel that way at all. But I understand how some people could, but to each his own sort of. And it's again, one of these filters that if I'm talking to somebody and they're actually totally agitated by that,
I would.
It's not like, you're cut off just because you don't like the word. I don't want to be stranded in an airport with you because we are not going to be able to have a discussion. It's not like that. It's not as strong as that. But yeah, it's the things of like, that makes me want to say, well, how would you describe it? How, and I find the other ways, as to this date, the other ways of describing that isn't as powerful or isn't as, I don't want to say best fit, but it's not as descriptive as nonlinear thinking. And so until we explore the languaging and get other languaging around it, right now it's kind of like the most descriptive one that I've come across. Anyway, so Perry is, this is a new thing, but I had a lot of questions, and in the discussion I was noticing stuff, that he was saying, and I was like, okay, cool, that's in alignment, okay, that's in alignment. And yeah.
I mean, that what Perry did is like, I would say the peak of tips, or the Champions League of tips, and like just try to start your own movement and like a magnet attract the people that might be interesting for you. But it's hard. It's technically difficult, or it's a lot of work technically. And you
he's
put
done
yourself,
a lot of work.
Really, really put yourself out there. When you are building such a movement, like he seemed to do with the octopus movement, I would say what another good opportunity to find a collaborative partner is if you don't want to go the public way, like posting on LinkedIn, because you don't know who's going to see it there, or maybe you are
right.
It's a topic you don't want to communicate that openly. Then you could use the WhatsApp status, for example, so that it gets in front of the eyes of your contacts and mostly your friends. So it's a much smaller circle, and it feels a little bit more private. I'm really more the type who goes, I would post on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and I would post on all channels possible and start a website about it. A little bit like the way Perry did it, because it feels natural to me. But
and it creates a bigger pool, because if we message people within our own pool or within our own orbit that we already have, that doesn't make any sense to me, because wouldn't you already be collaborating with somebody within your own orbit? Now, it can be something
full on hit.
You can well, there's a fly that wants to like hang out on my face, so it's like get off me. And so just for anybody not watching, I just like smacked him with the microphone, although you probably would have heard it.
It wasn't
now that it's more sensitive. But it's like there's probably people within our orbit that we haven't considered doing a collaboration with. But my orbit in particular, it's like I already know what, who I would or wouldn't hit up for a collaboration. But that's what I did with Sam, the new one, with the other podcast. It's like she was in my orbit, and I told her, I was like, hey, I want to do this thing. And I think you're the right person. We didn't really even know each other that much. And that's so, yeah.
That's the other special technique that you use often, right? You get in contact with direct private messaging via LinkedIn with people you have the feeling that they might fit. So that's another trick to...
Yes.
You look through your LinkedIn feed, or maybe you already know 2 or 3 persons where you think, oh, those would be or could be great matches, and then you just write them. But what would you write them? Because that is again maybe a hurdle for people to say, yeah, but when I write them privately, what should I write them? That almost feels like dating. So what would you write?
Well, there's a number of different, that's a great question. There's a number of different ways to do that. And I could totally coach somebody. If you really have a project, contact me that you want to do that. And I can tune it exactly to you. It is definitely not a one size fits all. And so everybody has their comfort level of how they're contacting or how they can contact. And I could totally help flesh that out. That is, I don't know why, but that's easy for me to figure that out, not only for myself, but for other people as well. And so there's so many different ways to contact people and the wording, but it's important to know what wording you're comfortable with and what strategy you're comfortable with going in the door. I know this is going to sound really vague when I talk about it, because it's not one size fits all. It's what works for me is not going to work for somebody else, and vice versa. So it has to be, and in that way, it's very personal. Part of the thing is that I'm always watching, and I'm always paying attention to, different people that catch my interest, and so I will follow them for a while, and then kind of when I want to say done with my research, or they don't seem to be somebody that I'm going to be not collaborating with, but it's not that, but it's like if they're just in my feed for whatever, then I'll stop following, because it's, I mean, I would, God, my following thing would be up in the thousands. So I have to, clear it a lot. But there are certain people who kind of stay in it. And I just pay attention to what they're doing, what they're going through. And I do notice when people are very, very busy, and when they're hustle. These aren't the people that I gravitate towards for collaboration. I tend to gravitate towards people who are pretty chill and laid back, and who actually have the time to add a project. Because there's a lot of people, and I can tell, it's fairly easy for me to tell whether some people are like maxed out and they're super like manic. And I'm like, I wouldn't ask those people, even if I would want to work with them, they don't have time. They don't have time to do the kind of projects I have in mind and that would be fun for me. So I'm kind of looking for that sweet spot of people who engineer free time into their lives, and that we kind of are on the same page around fun and interests, if you will. So I kind of pay attention to who these people are. So there's a number of them that I watch, and then like with Sam, she made the fatal error of saying she was going to take off time, take a gap and take off time. And I immediately like, she's got time to play. And so of course I pounced, and I'm like, well, let's do this. Let's try this thing before somebody else gets to her. this kind of thing. I can't help it. I just can't help it. So I pay attention to what people are doing, and if they have the bandwidth and it's like with Sam, she was like, I want to, I need to explore. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I listen to how they say what they're saying. Are they craving a project? What are they doing? Where are they in their life? And so whatever you're doing, if you can listen for that, if you can listen for that dog whistle of of compatibility, if you will, but that is the best way to at least know who you should approach.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a blanket approaching people, because that's just kind of, I'm looking for a collaboration partner. For what and why? Why that person? It has to be done with intent. Yes, it takes time. But it's like, if you don't rush the project and you let it kind of simmer in your head, or like me, if you have with Sam and that podcast, is that it happened. I had the idea when I was out mowing the grass. I contacted her the next day. I just sent her a private message, and I was just like, hey, I've got this crazy thing. So we have to have a conversation. I'm not going to tell you about it in a message. And she was like, you're killing me. I want to know. And I'm like, ha ha ha. Wait till we're in a conversation. And, and then I put the idea out, and she was just like, hell yes. So that happened very, very fast, and there's been some other things that have happened slower, and, waiting. Well, the podcast with you, I wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't know who I would want to do it with. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know, all of it. So I was learning, and so that was really comfortable, because you already know everything about the technical aspect of this. Yeah. And so waiting can be a good thing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Or jump in, but you need the right partner to jump in, and somebody who's willing to thrash around you have to be gentle with each other and not, blame and bash each other for stuff, because you and I are super comfortable on that level. It's like, oh shit. Okay. You're like, we need graphics and, for the thing. And you're like cranking this stuff out. And I'm like, oh my God. And I have to put graphics on all these things. So I was like, I started doing them really quick. And I noticed, okay, they're not up. And you're like, why aren't they up? But I don't really care. So it's like both of us are super comfortable with our rhythm of getting it done or not getting it done. And because we just, as long as we keep moving forward, you and I are pretty comfortable with it. And so in that respect, we're a really good fit.
That could be another episode one day, like a downhill parking, or it could be one part of the workshop, but like setting up some not rules, but guidelines for making yourself and your collaboration partner comfortable, what to look for, what to talk about upfront. It's almost like sometimes you can't even express and say what you need in a collaboration because you don't know it yet. But
exactly.
you have to find out, and what could be questions that two people or three people that might be working together in a team can talk about or figure out. My dream would be, or my dream workshop would be, that I would like to put together someday would be like a role-playing game. Take a role-playing game, or give the option: do you want to play in a fantasy world, in a horror world, or in a science fiction world? And then do a role-playing round with people, so that they can get on a meta level a little bit and detach from their all-day personality as far as they want to and get into a different character, and then just play out how they would work with this group. And I mean, when you're doing like a fantasy story and you go into a goblin dungeon and are looking for the treasure there, you find out how you are compatible to other people in the group, but you do it in a playful way without stepping on each other's toes, because you're not talking about real things or real situations.
Right. That would be interesting. We will talk about this. We will talk about this. Yeah. And that's something that you and I have not done. We haven't taught a workshop yet.
No.
Yet.
I really would like to. I mean, my style or my style of giving a workshop is, I would say, not that cool as yours. It's somewhat traditional, but I know where to break the rules so that people are surprised. But for example, I use PowerPoint slides for me as a reminder, because otherwise I would forget what I want to talk about. And if somebody is paying me for something, then I have to stick to what they pay for, at least to 80%. Otherwise, it would go into the weeds that far that maybe the person who booked me would say afterwards, that was really cool, but we haven't got the solution that we wanted because you didn't talk about it. And I go, oh, whoops.
Right. Right. No, it would be very, very interesting. I'm curious. We should totally do one, and see if you're comfortable doing it in the same style.
As soon as you are there and we add up to each other, I'm perfectly fine with it, I guess. If you I'm
guessing you would.
If your internet connection would crash and you were like on for 2 hours, then I would run maybe. Like, see you next time.
No, I don't think so. Because it's like the thing, kind of the rule number one is be lazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not there to tell people information. We're there to help the information emerge from the people there. So they do most of the talking. And that's what a lot of the people who are doing the workshops.
But that is what's hard for me, you know?
It's, it's a facilitation, not a data entry from the facilitator point of view. And
I'm good at data giving. I'm good at building together a workshop plan or like exercises and handouts and slides and give the information out. But my biggest fear in a workshop is that if I would do it that way, that I don't click with the people and nothing emerges and nothing happens. I know that's probably that doesn't would, but I couldn't go into a workshop without being over prepared so that I can pull several things out of my head.
I'm prepared. But I go with what the group is. I know it looks like I'm like, I'm just pulling it off the top of my head, but no. There's a lot of thought on the back end. There is so much work on the back end, but it feels effortless because I've done the work on the back end of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I can pivot, and if something changes, and just the slightest feeling of the ambiance in the room, I'm like, ooh, that thing I wanted to do next, I'm not going to do next. I'm going to do this thing over here. Maybe it's in the bottom of my, quote unquote, mental suitcase. but I know what I can use, and for that particular situation. So it's very, very flexible considering the people and what's going on.
Yeah.
And so that's where but there's a lot of work on the back end of that. But we could totally do it together. We could totally do it together. Yeah. Yeah. I have no hesitation with you to do that with a co-pilot. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
So, yeah. I think we should totally do it. All right, then. Folks, this is how it's done. This is how it's done. Now, Alex and I, we're going to be there writing the book. We're going to be doing a workshop. But this is what's cool, because once you find a really good fit collaborative partner, that's a question. Is it just a one thing? Is it kind of a narrow thing that you work with that partner? Or is it kind of like ours that we haven't even begun to tap into this stuff that and experiment with what we should, what we can do together,
That's right.
And we might get into it and go like, oh God, okay, not this, you're driving me nuts. This, no more of this.
Yeah, but that would be point. Okay. The good point is
okay.
Yeah, it would totally be okay. And if when we have the podcast, when we have a different project like the newsletter or a book or a workshop, or all four together, or maybe more of this together, then if one thing turns out to be that's not working out, then okay, you just strike it off the list and concentrate on the other things. So that's not a big deal.
Like the pipe dream, and I feel like it really should happen at one time, is the food truck. We've talked about this before. Yeah. And just to do it for a season, just to do it for a season. The nutrication station is what I want to call it. I don't know about you, but that is just, I can't get that out of my head. But it's like food, very healthy food and specifically for neurodivergence, but it's good for everybody. And, that sustained energy burn that doesn't make you peak and crash. Good for your body, good for the body and the soul. And and so it's like, it's just my excuse to for a month or so, be in a truck and drive around and do some bullshit road trip with Alex. Yeah. So that's how it comes into my head. But that's going to, after that, we'd be like, okay, we're never doing that again. That sucked. Or we come out of it and we're like, okay, cool. Once, a week or 2 weeks or whatever out of the summer, we should totally do this. Yeah. That would be awesome.
That would be really
but we don't know until we try,
That's the thing. You should try it. Yeah. And otherwise you won't know. I had two other tips that came to my mind that you can do to find a collaboration partner. The one thing we spoke about this before we started recording is join a community like Nest Labs, for example, which led to this podcast because I met Saskia on Nest Labs, and from there everything else emerged. Communities normally are free or really low price.
He and I met on Saskia's
workshop. Yeah. Or you can get into a cohort course that are really taking off the last 2 or 2.5 years, but those are often really expensive. I haven't been on one, and like Alt MBA from Seth Godin or this book in a box course. I don't know if they still offered that you described. Or
there's free stuff out there everywhere, and it's like joining a community of just what you're interested in. Say, just off the top of my head, like tiny ponies or some shit, it's like whatever interests you, just go in, hang out in the group, see who's in there, and have a conversation. And then I want to start a podcast, or I want to do this about subject of tiny ponies, and see if anybody's in the group who's worth who piques your interest or seems interesting to start something with.
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
That's where I would recommend Reddit or Discord. Like often you find those groups on Reddit that are really into an interest, and if you lurk around the Reddit group for several days or weeks, then you find out who's really active there or who might be a good fit, or they already
who's available.
Yeah, and then there might be a Discord server, which is like more. It's a little bit more. It's quicker and a little bit more personal because it's a chat server, and there are. I mean, I think there's almost as much topics as there are Reddit groups. There are Discord servers where you can just join and immediately start talking to people. Reddit is more like a forum where you write something and then you wait until somebody answers several hours or days later. And the Discord server is more like a chat server where you get almost immediately an answer, for example. And there are search engines for special topics that you are looking for on Discord servers as well. That's something I would recommend.
Cool. Also, it's like that's a good one. And I also found I found Saskia on, because I put a thing up on like a bulletin board for working out loud, which is like a kind of a small focus group. I think it's 5 people max, and it is kind of accountability thing. And so you meet, weekly. And so I put a notice up for female entrepreneurs. Yeah. And so Saskia was one of those. We had 5, and then it got down to 3, and then it was like Saskia and I and another person were going to be doing a thing, and then the other person stepped out, and so then it was just Saskia and I. We just ended up being friends and talking about other stuff all the time. It wasn't even a working out loud thing anymore. And so now we're like collaborative partners on a lot of different things.
And I don't know if it's still
just ask for what you want. Sorry. Ask for what you want. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you might get close, and you'll definitely learn something from it for sure.
I don't know if John is still doing it that way, or if it's now a really corporate concept, the working out loud. But
I don't know.
I was on a panel with John Stepper in 2018 or 2019, I guess. And back then, he was really into getting working out loud to everybody who wants to use it. So it's a concept where you can build a circle in your company or in your organization or in your circle of friends. And it was fun because I asked him, hey, why are you that often in Germany? Why is working out loud that successful in Germany? Yeah. And he said, I think it's because Germans want to have rules for everything. And this is a blueprint. You just can take the working out loud method. You can get it compressed to 5 or 10 pages or so. And you can just start with it, but you have this set of rules or set of guidelines to start this circle. And where he said, okay, like in America, the people are much more laid back and they just figure stuff out themselves, and they are not that they don't fear that much to make an error or waste any time. And you Germans, you really want to have something on paper which tells you what to do. So it's a great method.
Yeah.
Working out loud circles are really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Cool. Well, I think that's a natural stopping place. And I'm going to go make lunch. I'm starving.
Oh, me too. But I have to get the girls back from the swimming hall. What is it called? If it's not a swimming pool, but it's a swimming hall? Or how do you call it when it's in a building?
I forget. Okay. Yeah. At the moment, I forget. Yeah. Schwimmbad. I know. It's because I'm thinking that's all I have in my head is the German term for it is a Schwimmbad.
Yeah.
And hey, I got a question. Right as a closing thing.
Yeah.
There is a. Do you know how I asked a while back? It's the like the opposite of death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yes.
These little kind of like micro, and not just microaggressions, but just micro negativity. And so I heard something on a podcast, and I wrote it down. I was trying to write it down. They didn't repeat it, and I didn't go back to it. They didn't say how to spell it. But it's a German word, and it's Freudensprung.
Yeah, Freudensprung. Yeah,
and so it means. Say it again.
Freudensprung.
Freudensprung. Okay.
Freudensprung.
And it translates to joy jumps.
Yes. If you make you too.
Yeah, like bliss moments or joy jumps.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's the thing. Maybe that's the opposite. So I just had to put that in there at the end. That I was like, ooh, because I keep asking everybody about that. Like, what's the opposite of death by 1,000 paper cuts? And so that's the first thing I've come across that has come close to what I'm looking for.
I would add to that, it could be, Freudensprung could be, but for me, a Freudensprung is really this activity when you are jumping. If you go like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
When you are jumping? Oh.
Yeah, when you're literally jumping. Freudensprung is when you're literally jumping. The first thing that comes to my mind as an association in context to the opposite of death by 1,000 paper cuts would be a Glücksmoment. Mm-hmm. Because in German we have like we have more words or more different words for something like luck. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to explain. A Glücksmoment is something of, it can be a really happy moment, but it could also be a moment of having luck. Mm-hmm. Like winning the lottery could be a Glücksmoment, or getting married could be a Glücksmoment. Mm-hmm. So a chain of a lot of little Glücksmomente could be the opposite to death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Interesting.
Because it can be really, really small.
Thank you.
A Glücksmoment can be really, really small.
Yeah. Cool.
And then you do Freudensprünge.
Yay. If anybody else has if anybody else has a response for that thing, because I kind of just want to I want to turn it into a saying. Huh?
Do you know what the word is that I am looking for since 30 years? I'm pretty sure you can't help me with that. But,
do tell.
It's a rhyme. There's no word that really makes sense in the German language that rhymes to Apfel, the German word for apple. And since a German lesson in eighth grade or so, we had to make up rhymes and things like that. And our German teacher said, you can make a rhyme to everything and so on. And a friend of mine goes, no, you can't. And she was like, what? No, you can't make a rhyme on everything. And he said, rhyme something on Apfel. And it was really like her face got pale, and she was like, Zapfel.
That's like in English.
And he was like, no, those are not real words. It has to be a word that is in a Duden, not a made up word. And since then,
but that's silly because Germans make up words all the time.
Yes.
And that's like in English the word orange. They say nothing rhymes with orange. And so I have to jump. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So So have an apple-ish, orange-ish day.
The first thing that comes to mind that's a real word would be mélange. Mélange, orange. That could work, but it's a French word and not an English word.
Yeah, if you say it with a French accent, we can rhyme with it. True. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, then we'll leave you on that note, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Next time. That was a great episode. So much fun. Yay! Bye.
Cool. Bye.